Once upon a time, in a secluded and dense forest, there stood an ancient, crumbling tower. This tower was not adorned with the usual charm and fairy tale beauty, but was instead covered with thick, twisted vines and shrouded in an eerie mist. It was said that anyone who ventured near the tower would never return, as if the very ground around it consumed them whole. In a nearby village, tales of the tower had been passed down through generations. The elders warned the young ones to stay away, for the tower was home to something dark and sinister. The story began with a young girl named Rupenzel, who was not the innocent maiden most legends describe. Rupenzel was born with an unusual gift or curse, depending on one's perspective. Her hair, long and silken, held magical properties. It could heal wounds, restore youth, and even bring the dead back to life. But with such power came a heavy price. Her hair needed to be nourished by the life force of others. As a child, her parents, desperate and poor, sold her to a powerful witch who promised them riches beyond their wildest dreams. The witch, named Grimara, was not benevolent. She took Rupenzel to the old tower, hidden deep within the cursed forest. There she cast a spell that bound Rupenzel to the tower, preventing her from ever leaving. Grimara used Rupenzel's hair for her own nefarious purposes, drawing out the life force of unsuspecting travelers who wandered too close. These travelers would find themselves inexplicably drawn to the tower, compelled by a force they could not resist. As the years passed, Rupenzel grew more and more powerful, but also more twisted by the dark magic that sustained her. Her hair, once golden and beautiful, became dark and serpentine, with a mind of its own. It would reach out, ensnaring any living creature that came near, draining them of their life essence to feed its mistress. One day, a young man named Elias, brave and foolhardy, decided to uncover the truth of the tower. He was an orphan, raised by the village, and had heard the stories all his life. Armed with nothing but his courage and a sharpened blade, he ventured into the forest. As he approached the tower, the air grew thick with an unnatural chill, and whispers seemed to emanate from the shadows. Elias reached the base of the tower and called out, "Rupenzel! Rupenzel! Let down your hair!" To his shock, a cascade of dark, writhing hair fell from above, almost as if it had been waiting for him. He grabbed hold and began to climb, feeling the hair pulse with a life of its own. When he reached the top, he found himself in a dimly lit chamber. There, in the center, sat Rupenzel. Her eyes were hollow and her once beautiful face was twisted into a mask of sorrow and malevolence. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the walls seemed to pulse like a living entity. "You've come to free me?" Rupenzel asked, her voice a haunting echo. Elias, taken aback by her appearance, nonetheless nodded. "Yes, I will free you from this place." Rupenzel's laughter was a chilling sound. "You cannot free me, for I am bound by forces beyond your understanding. But perhaps you can help me in another way." Before Elias could react, Rupenzel's hair lashed out, wrapping around him like a constricting snake. He felt his strength draining away, his life force being pulled from his body. Desperate, he slashed at the hair with his blade, but it was no use. The hair was too strong, too hungry. As his vision began to fade, Elias saw a fleeting image of Rupenzel's true self, a young girl, innocent and trapped, pleading for release. With his last ounce of strength, he whispered a prayer, hoping that somehow his sacrifice would bring an end to her suffering. The villagers never saw Elias again, but from that day forward, the tower seemed to vanish from sight, hidden once more by the forest's malevolent embrace. The tale of Rupenzel, the dark enchantress of the tower, lived on as a cautionary legend, a reminder of the perils of unchecked power and the darkness that can lurk within even the most beautiful of things. And so, the tower remains, a shadow in the forest, waiting for the next unfortunate soul to wander too close and become ensnared by the dark magic of Rapunzel's hair.